there's so much attention to detail that goes into getting your team ready to play a college football game. And the X's and O's are great, but really what it comes down to is matchups. And does my wide receiver have a good matchup with your defensive back? Or can my offensive tackle pass protect against this defensive end? And the Blue Devil coaching staff has done a great job of finding a player in their defense that is a tremendous matchup problem week in and week out. That's number 96, the 6'3", 225-pound redshirt sophomore, Chris Rumph II. He's a hybrid defensive lineman linebacker, and Duke uses him in multiple ways to get him matched up against offensive linemen where he can use his speed and athleticism to his advantage and create havoc plays for the Duke defense. He actually leads the Blue Devil defensive unit with 8.5 tackles for loss so far this season. He had 3 of them against North Carolina. See him here in that hybrid spot, lined up alongside Kobe Kwanzaa and Shaka Hayward at the linebacker level, and he's going to walk around pre-snap. The Blue Devil coaching staff gives him quite a bit of freedom to be innovative and come up with different looks that keep the offensive line guessing as to where he's going to be coming. At this point, he lines up in front of the running back, and at the snap of the football, you'll see him beat the offensive tackle, the left tackle in this case, straight to the ball carrier. When you're an offensive lineman, you want to get pre-snap reads. You want to understand where your pressure is coming from and get double teams to help you out with certain matchups. Well, when Chris Rumph lines up in the middle of the defense initially and at the last second walks over, the offensive line's not able to scheme him up at all, and he uses his speed and quickness right off the snap to get good leverage inside the offensive tackle here and wrap up the ball carrier for minimal gain. Here we're actually going to see it pay dividends in the passing game. Very similar look, the same defensive set. Rumph right here, number 96, walks over from the middle, and he's going to line up again over the running back. This time, watch what he decides to do. He goes outside around the offensive tackle, right into the passing lane of Sam Howell, the North Carolina quarterback. Gets his hands up there, uses his range, that length that everybody talks about with that 6'3" frame to bat the ball out of the air, and it's close to being intercepted for the Blue Devils. This is a defensive end working against a guard, no help whatsoever, one-on-one block, and guards, I played guard, I know, aren't typically as quick or as agile as offensive tackles who make all the money in the NFL. And so when you've got quickness against more brute strength and size on the inside, it typically doesn't end well for the offense. A quick inside move by Rumph here, and he swallows up the back on the handoff. Havoc plays being created by Chris Rumph II because the Blue Devil coaching staff puts him in position all over the field, walking around to where the offense doesn't know where he's coming from, and he can tee off up front.